Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today, I think we have a lot of really interesting crypto news to share. But don't we have it every day? I think so. So first of all, a little story about Tron, as they're appointing Alameda Research as the first member and whitelisted institution. I think there's some really heavy information to be discussed about this, because this could be huge, and I'll explain in this video why. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Cardano as they're preparing for a major update, and a lot of people are crazy bullish on that one. Before moving over into Bitcoin, some people say it's the least risky thing to have in a retirement portfolio. Is it true? Is it not true? We'll talk about that. In the same sense, institutional investors, we're talking about retirement, institutional investors. Apparently they're exiting the market as crypto declines, which is kind of like a counter argument to the previous article. We'll talk about that. I think it's really funny. And then the IMF warning a couple of countries regarding Bitcoin adoption. Interesting. And also we have a little bit about Gary Gensler, I think, or Clarity. Oh, okay, it's about Coinbase, actually. Kind of forgot about that one. There we go. So first of all, guys, Tron DAO Reserve appoints Alameda Research as the first member and whitelisted institution. So apparently the Tron DAO Reserve has announced the research as its first member and whitelisted institution to mint decentralized USD. D, or USDD, is going to be what it's going to be called. A fully centralized stablecoin underpinned by mathematics and algorithms, the Tron DAO Reserve aims to support the global blockchain industry and crypto market, prevent panic trading caused by extreme market volatility, and mitigate long-term economic downturns. And apparently, Alameda Research is a leading principal trading firm. If you don't know them, wait a second. They use internally developed technology and the team's deep crypto expertise to trade thousands of digital asset products, including all major coins and altcoins and their derivatives, and they have relentlessly built a globally focused team and infrastructure with the ability to trade on all major exchanges and markets since 2017. And this, to be honest with you, is a huge deal. Why? If you don't know, one Google search would most likely suffice. Who owns FTX? Interesting question. Who owns FTX? Sam Bankman-Fried. Everybody knows that. He is the founder and CEO of FTX, a crypto exchange, but he also manages assets through Alameda Research, a quantitative crypto trading firm he founded in October of 2017. He is ranked 60th on the 2022 Forbes billionaire list. He's pretty rich. But, you see, Alameda Research, FTX, that's a pretty big deal. So if they're back in this, if they're into this, and I described this before, whenever we look for investment opportunities, we look for the VC backing. Why? Well, usually it's a really good indication of some support that's going to come from that sector. And in this sense here as well, working with Alameda Research on anything is a very big deal. It just depends a little bit on how Tron and Alameda are working on this one. And that is something we'll see in the real short term. But this makes a really good use case for Tron in terms of us basically buying into it purely on this speculation alone. The fact that Alameda is going to be really heavily involved in all of this. It's only the first member and whitelisted institution. It could be that they gave this spot away for free or something. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. But I think it's going to be huge for Tron. Really bullish on that one. Regarding Cardano, they prepared for a major update. Will it be enough to push the bears back though? The Cardano network is preparing for its upcoming hard fork combinator event, Vasil. The crypto has been undergoing several updates and optimizations, but continues to follow the general market sentiment. In fact, Cardano price has been trending downside since the 2021 end, and people are wondering, is this update finally going to take things back? Well, per a post from Cardano developer IOG, they are focused on preparing the network's node and consensus for the upcoming hard fork combinator. Expected in June of 2022, the update will upgrade the mainnet performance properties. Vasil is mainly aimed at making Cardano more efficient when processing DApps, or DApp transactions specifically, and thus smart contracts users on the network will benefit from a better experience. The network introduced its smart contract capabilities back in 2021 with a series of hard fork combinator events, which ended with Alonzo upgrade. Since that time, the Cardano ecosystem has seen an important expansion. People are rightfully so wondering, will this be the big upgrade that's going to make people go crazy on this? Well, in terms of price, I think Cardano was doing pretty well on this hard fork, basically nearing and coming along, but the crypto market downturn kind of took it with it. Then again, the most important part to say about it is, well, people were before really excited until we start to understand, okay, a lot of this functionality that we were expecting with the Vasil fork is going to take a lot longer, most likely a couple additional months. And so what exactly are we getting excited for? Should we start buying in massively? I think if you're buying massively into a project because of a hard fork, you should always buy into that with the news and then try to sell it the closer it gets. It's a month out, and so there's still, I would say, a little bit of time to potentially buy and sell. But since the market is on such a downturn, I think it's still a very interesting thing, a very scary thing to do, because if the market kind of continues on with this trend, there's a good chance it's not going to get a crazy pump going. Then again, they just announced yesterday, let's see here. Elsewhere, the vice president of community and ecosystem at Cardano's developer firm, IOHK, Tim Harrison, announced yesterday that Cardano was anticipating 2 developer events at the end of May and mid-June, one in Barcelona and the other one in Austin, Texas. I'm not sure that was a juicy price update or anything like that, but just note this. The Cardano activity will most likely ramp up as time moves on anyway. They can put down that it's because of the hard fork nearing, but Cardano activity is just growing immensely. It is. There's nobody denying that. I just don't think this hard fork is going to be the bigger deal that people expected it to before. I think it's going to rely on the next hard fork coming up or something along those lines. It's going to take some time though, because a lot of the updates which were scheduled for right now are not going to happen until the next one. So I'm a little bit hesitant, but again, that's just me. Then regarding the infamous article, MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor saying that Bitcoin is the least risky thing to have in a retirement portfolio. Straight up, no, not true. Even though I would personally say, yeah, that's true, that's right. It isn't. There's not any safe asset to have in a retirement portfolio. Some might say the S&P. It's officially not so safe because it depends on when you retire, you know? It can really be that in that specific time period, whoa. Okay, hopefully don't choke here. In that specific time period, that we all of a sudden have a crazy recession for, let's say, 6 or so years. And if you're retiring exactly at that point, you're kind of screwed. So is it safe for longer term? I would say as time moves on, it'll just keep gradually increasing, but it's just like a time issue. However, that is, I would say, the safest option still if we had to consider anything. Mostly because, well, that's what the hedge funds and what the investment firms are going to be doing, these retirement funds. They're mostly going to go for the big indices or basically splice it up so much with so much money that it's basically like another index. Having said that, the reason I'm not saying crypto is so risk-free is not because I don't believe in the space. I believe in it fully, and you guys know the majority of my money is in it. However, it's an asset that's been out there for a decade and a half or so. It's really crazy, in my opinion, to assume that it's going to be around for the next 60 or so years. Okay, I guess retirement age is a little bit shorter. Let's say 40 or so years, maybe for some people 30. We don't know for sure because it's only been around for half that time yet. Is it a good opportunity? Yes. But there's a lot of opportunity for big pitfalls as well. And it could be that any crypto that we know right now is not going to be the asset that's going to remain for the next 3 decades, if you guys get my drift. It could be that in another decade or so, Bitcoin is really obsolete because we found out that a lot of these other cryptos, which are not the original double spend problem fixer, but they're just a lot more efficient for any other sector and better stores of value even too. Who knows if it's going to be Bitcoin is going to be around for every year, from here on forward. I do believe crypto technology will keep increasing, but that's mostly relying on the fact that blockchain technology is just increasingly becoming more popular in the world. You can't really stop it anymore. I just saw the announcement of Gucci as well getting into crypto payments. Okay. No, you guys didn't see that because of the freaking... There was like either a spider, a little spider, because there's a lot of spiders here, or a mosquito on my neck. What in the world was that? I'm going to keep it in the video. What? You know when you have this is like the most, when you have that itch, right? You have like an itch and you're just thinking, it might be a bug, but you're thinking, probably isn't. But then you go towards it and it is a bug or it is whatever. I got scared because when you're recording, things become a little bit more intense, I'm actually a little bit tired as well. But damn, that's funny. I wonder what it was and where it actually went to. Because I was kind of zooting it away. All right, there we go. Little fun clip for the people. That was interesting. All right, let's just kind of confirm yet again. This whole idea of Bitcoin being the least risky is not true. I think it's one of the best options, but it's together combined with a couple of other factors, For some of the wealthier people, I think it's together with some real estate or at least some REIT. So you're having, small parts in real estate. I think that's a really nice thing to do. But also to stay true to the stocks because, a lot of these bigger billionaires are not going to let it fail. For crypto, there still might be some manipulation efforts in due time. But I'm just saying in terms of safety, right? I'm not saying it's not a good opportunity to make a lot of money because I think it's the best thing. But least risky, I don't think is the right way to call it. It is a little bit riskier than these traditional assets, even though I'm not sure if the dollar will forever be this good. I'm not sure if stocks will forever, in the US, of course, be this good. Maybe China will take over, and the U.S. is going to kind of. But you guys get my drift. At the end of the day, stocks will keep prospering over longer periods of time. So, all right, institutional investors exit markets as crypto declines. New report reveals. That's again the most important factor to kind of consider. Nothing is safe. What is safe? Define safety in these markets. There's going to be institutional investors who are going to quit anytime that it gets kind of steamy. But you also got to consider, they're the ones making the majority of the money. They know the way around the system. Yet, if we can report on it, if it's so open and public, most likely it's not something to really worry about. Because if they really wanted to make money on an exit, they probably wouldn't announce it like this. Because why? Well, they try to manipulate it in the best way, shape, or form possible. And if they announce their exit so severely, people, it's the psychology behind it. If they announce their exit so severely, just understand that it's most likely going to be a really big, okay, everybody's going short right now and we're going to start buying massively or something along those lines. They don't want you to make money. They don't want to warn you and help you out. No, it doesn't work that way. So whenever I'm seeing an article like this, either it's based upon the actual institutions like just posted up showing, okay, they're out. Since it isn't, I'm just going to assume that it's a couple of figures put together, which most likely don't really mean squat for the future price, as why would it? So the amount of money institutional investors put into the crypto market, it depends on so many different factors. The amount of money they're pulling out is irrelevant. It depends on so many different factors. And we can go on with this story for a long time. It's the same thing as me describing the exchange flows, for example, or the exchange outflows and why or not it could be relevant and why it shouldn't be. There's too many variables that calculate or make up the difference in price that it's hard to say whether or not them exiting the markets is a good or bad thing. You might actually say, okay, this leaves more opportunity for the smaller fry. So it leaves more opportunity for you as an individual to make money. It's also something to be said. Then again, you can also say they've lost confidence. You can also say they're just trying to manipulate the market. What are they doing? Nobody knows. Nobody can say. IMF sounds warning following Bitcoin adoption in the Central African Republic. All I have to say about this one is, damn, right? The IMF saying the adoption of Bitcoin in Central African Republic raises major legal transparency and economic policy challenges. Remember, a lot of people over in a lot of countries are unbanked. The fact that crypto is becoming a possibility in a lot of places is making a lot of other countries scared, specifically the US, because they can't control it no more, is my own opinion on the matter. And yeah, I honestly think it's a really good step if the country wants to go for it, because you're helping a lot of people out get some way to accept digital payments. Then again, I'm not exactly sure why the IMF is kind of like trying to bother by even coming in, stepping in at all. It's going pretty well in El Salvador. You might say it's not. You might say a lot of people are facing resistance to it. You know how many people it's actually helped with the unbanked issue? I actually saw a little small documentary today where a lot of people are now finally have a way to get into like home ownership or so, because if you didn't have a bank or any score before, how are they going to make sure you're going to keep up with your payments, sort of? It's not as if they can pull out of your Bitcoin account, but you can show, hey, I have a lot of funds, for example, or hey, I have a business, there's transactions coming in and out. Give me the house and I'll keep paying it back. And if you don't pay back, you take back the house, of course. But there's like more of a ledger, so to speak. There's more of a system where you can showcase payments and whatnot officially on paper. You know, basically a banking system, but then decentralized banking, kind of. But it's good. I really enjoy that. And then I wanted to quickly just talk about the fact that the IMF, of course, is resisting it. But again, there's the US, right? Gary Gensler Hated Club on Twitter said, I love how Coinbase keeps adding tokens that have zero regulatory clarity while suspending the transactions of XRP. Talk about hypocrisy. Again, I don't want to make any severe statements here that are too bad. I just want to say, I think it's interesting how the U.S. is looking at this thinking, you know what? Yeah, XRP, properly traded by tens of thousands of people, millions of people actually, around the world. A lot of U.S. investors in that. People believe in it fully. Ripple's not going to run away. They're U.S. based, doing everything following the book. Now we're going to sue that one. Oh, okay. Doge, Elon Mars, Shiba 350, Foot Locker. That one seems fine. We're not going to sue that one yet. I think we'll let it slide for a little bit. If you guys get my drift, I was looking for some names. I was thinking of something, like a long name. I think it's interesting the way that the U.S. is handling this. I don't think it's the best way to do it. And I'm really kind of wondering how Coinbase gets the information as well about what coins they can and cannot list. You might say, oh, they've done the due diligence. Yeah, but the due diligence is only as good as until the SEC changes their mind, right? Or are they asking the SEC about it? If so, did they ask the SEC about XRP? If they did, then how is all of a sudden did they change their mind? And how are not more people talking about the fact that people have actually mailed the SEC before in 2020 and such? And the SEC was like, yeah, I think, we don't really make a determination on this. If the SEC was so adamant that it was going to be a security, why didn't they just say, stay the frick away, And why? Or what would happen now if I were to send in a Doge, like some sort of derivative of a meme coin? What would happen? What would they respond to me if I were to mail the SEC asking, is it good to buy? Is this a security, yes or no? What would they say? And does it work that way? But I think people inquire, right? And I'm guessing they have to respond in some way, shape, or form to tell you if it's a regulated asset or not. A proper regulated one. Whatever. Alright guys, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit of a longer one, but I think it's all good. We covered a couple of really cool subjects. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you press the like button and subscribe. And I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto video later today. Adios amigos.